Okay, here we go. Well, hello. It's time for week 3 of the webinar series, Plugin Paradise. Right, the first thing I want to uh, briefly mention today is not really to do with plugins except for eShop itself. I've been doing a little bit of selling recently, and with the latest version, I've had a couple of issues just with a couple of transactions. Most of the transactions have been going through fine, but I can't show you the whole email because of privacy, but I can show you just this section of email, just so that you know what to look for. This is a subject line. You'll see, obviously, the reference could be and will be something different, and the start of the email will look like that. I have mentioned that in the forum. It looks like a couple of other people have seen this issue on occasion, and I'm going to have a look and see if I can find out what the cause of it is, but for the time being, it's a fairly easy thing to rectify. The person doesn't get the download instantly, so what you need to do, I'm going to see what exactly I can show you here. I'm just going to, I've got to be a bit careful because obviously there's live data, so I can't actually show you my live site that has had this issue, but on my on my screen, it's I've got two screens here, and on my lower screen, I'm just going to bring the site up that had the problem, because it's important you know how to rectify this. So if you'll just bear with me for a moment. Right, what you will see inside the eShop orders section, there will be a failed orders section, and that will contain that entry. It doesn't contain it anymore because I've already dealt with it, but when that entry appears, what you need to do is to, assuming that it is a failed order that should have been processed correctly, you need to select it, and there'll be an option that says move to shipped. So you select that, you move to shipped, then you click on shipped. Now I'm going to go to my other screen again and bring up the shipped on there, and I'm just going to move up part of this because I can show you a little bit of this so that you'll be able to see exactly what you need to deal with. Okay. Right, so that's actually a test purchase from my wife. So you need to click on that. Click on the name of the customer to view the complete order details. And now I can show you the whole thing. And you will see that. You then need to click on this. And you can just edit this message briefly. You'll be saying something like, sorry, the transaction failed. Please find the download details below. And enter your name there. And underneath in this email, it actually gives the download details for someone to pick up that product. So if that's sent, you click on the send email, and as I say, this affected two of my orders, but I didn't really get any complaints from it in the end. So So that's just something to be aware of. Okay, anyway, into the main meat of this session. This is going to be a far more interesting session than last week's. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to install all of these plugins on my FlirtCoach shop so that you'll be able to see exactly how they're all done. And I've ordered them in terms of what I consider to be the priority that you need. Obviously, the ones at the bottom, Ultimate Google Analytics, Piwik Analytics, and eShop plugin, I've already dealt with, so I'm not going to go over those, but the rest I'm going to be going over today. So if we start with WP Spam Free, right, this is the spam blocker that I use. I found it extremely effective. The advantage with this over the others that I've seen is it blocks virtually all common spam without requiring a capture solution and is free for commercial use. Now the capture is what you see when the site asks you to confirm that you're a human by entering a word that's presented to you as a distorted graphic indication. And the technique works, there's no doubt about that, and there are plugins that use that technique, but if you look at a site like Amazon.com, they don't have anything like that presented on their screen, and the reason is simply that you want your customers to be able to take action with as few stumbling blocks as possible. Anything that presents a block to them doing something that will benefit you is something that you don't want to have there. And captures are one of the things that can bring up that issue. Akismet is installed by default with WordPress, I believe. I'm sure it is, but that requires an API key, which is free if you're doing a non-commercial blog, but if this is certainly commercial, you're selling stuff, so there's no way you can categorize that as non-commercial. And that requires an API key and payment for commercial use, so it's harder to install because you've got to plug in that API key for every single installation that you do. ReCAPTCHA plugin. The reCAPTCHA is that service that presents two words to people. One is a known word and one is a word that optical character recognition couldn't decipher from some text that they're trying to decode. So that would help them, and that is a possible alternative that you can install if you really do want to use a captcha on your site. So how to install? Install and activate, I should say. Install and activate the WP Spam Free plugin. So I'll demonstrate that now. If I bring up the shop, go into plugins. This is the way I install pretty much all of the plugins, but what you can do is you can eventually set up a folder that contains all of the plugins that you normally use, and you can upload that. So it's WP Spam Free, and click on Search Plugins, and here we are. 4 stars. I don't know why it's only got 4 stars. I think it's excellent. And you click on Install. It goes about its business. It'll give you a brief description, and you click on Install Now. and it downloads it, it unpacks it, it installs it for you, and you then click on Activate Plugin. And what you want to do then, if I return to the mind map, okay, you need to go to Settings. Which is there inside the plugins directory. The irritating thing about WordPress plugins is they all tend to have their settings in different menus. Some of them will be in Appearance, some of them in Plugins, some of them in Settings, some of them in Tools. So sometimes you have to hunt for them. Anyway, installed correctly, that's what we were looking for, and we can see it there. So that's excellent. And there's no real need to change the options that are provided by default unless you get a lot of trouble with comment spam. So if I bring up the options we've got here, I'll just briefly navigate through them. And I'll be honest with you, I am a programmer, but I don't understand a lot of this stuff. Frankly, I don't have to. Yes, most of this, I mean, it's an extremely powerful plugin. As you can see, there's a great deal of stuff that you can set up. Oh, I should point out that all of the plugins that I'm going to be talking about today are not just suitable for any eShop WordPress site that you use. They can be used in any WordPress site. So any blogs that you want, these are the plugins that I tend to use with them. So that's WP Spam Free. That one's nice and easy. Google XML sitemaps. Now this is a little bit more complicated. The purpose of this is it produces an XML sitemap that search engines like Google can easily parse, which helps with your search engine optimization, because it basically tells the search engines, these are the pages on my site, these are how often they change, go and crawl them. And it can be quite complicated, but I've made it as simple as possible in this course, and you don't really need to overcomplicate things. Anything you can avoid overcomplicating, you certainly want to keep everything as simple as you can. So add Google XML Sitemaps plugin and activate it. So plugins, add new. Google XML Sitemaps. Click on Search Plugins. And there it is, it's the first one that appears. So it's click on Install. The window appears that tells you about it. You click on Install Now. You click on Activate. And once you've got that activated, what you need to do is to set up these settings. So it's in the XML sitemaps settings. See what I mean about them being dotted around? Here we are, XML sitemap. And what did we have to do again? We have to do write a normal XML file, write a gzipped file. Okay, those are already selected, so that's fine. Rebuild if contents change. And notify Google, Bing, and Ask.com about updates. It looks like you can notify Yahoo about updates, but you need to apply to Yahoo to use that services, and I don't know how you do that. It's not something I've had time to find out, but it looks fairly simple to do. It looks like you click on that link to request an application ID, and click on that link for further information. So, I think we can pretty much ignore all of the rest of the options. But the next thing that's important to do, you need to submit the sitemap, otherwise Google won't know it's there. And to do that, you follow this link. So I will copy that link and paste it in here. And oops, let's try that again. Copy. And paste. Okay. Okay, I'm already signed into my Google account. You will need to sign into yours to get this done. And you need to add your site. I don't know if this is going to work for this site because it's a subdomain of an existing site. It is working, which is excellent because I can now show you how to declare to Google that you are the owner of that site. Add your site and verify it. I've added the site, and to verify it, what I need to do, there are two methods. I can either upload an HTML file, or I can modify the meta tag and add in that meta tag within the head section. Now, uploading the HTML file is the more permanent approach. You need to download the file, which we click on, save it. It's a 0-length file, I believe. That's interesting, already exists. It's not a 0-length file, it's 53 bytes long. Okay, I'll open the containing folder for that, ready. And I'll start up FileZilla. Okay, I hope audio is working well. I've had a message that you may be experiencing reduced audio quality, but this is being recorded, so you'll be able to download the recording if there's any problems. So here we are with FileZilla. I need to connect to the site, which is this one. And I need to go into the root of the subdomain of the site. So it's going to be, in this case, public HTML and shop, I think it was. And now I need to bring up the download and just copy that into the shop. And then I can minimize that, get that out the way, get that out the way. Now confirm successful upload, so I'll middle click on that to bring it up. And there we are, okay, so that's fine. And then click the verify button. And there we are. And then the next thing we need to do is click on submit a sitemap. Click on submit a sitemap again. And in this case, it is called sitemap.xml.gz. I've got that in the mind map. There we are. You can use sitemap.xml without the .gz. .gz is basically a zipped version of the sitemap.xml file. So if I go back to Webmaster Tools and submit sitemap, okay, it'll take a little bit of time to appear, but that is the Google XML Sitemaps plugin setup. The next one is the Dagon Design Sitemap Generator. Now, you would think it's similar, but it's actually for a quite different purpose. Google XML Sitemaps doesn't produce something that's human readable. It produces an XML sitemap that's more suitable for the search engines. You can bring it up in a browser, and I'll just do that briefly so that you can see what you get. And it's sitemap.xml. Page not found, don't quite understand what's going on there. Okay, let's try a different one. Let's try this one. Okay, here we are. As I missed out a step, I haven't missed out any steps that I've listed here, but it might be the case that I have to post a new post to get that sitemap generated. In any case, I haven't really had much trouble with that plugin. I haven't really had any trouble with it, but this is basically how it looks for my dojotool.com site, and you can see it's basically, it provides a list of the various URLs that are available there, but it's not really very user friendly. And what you get with the Dagon Design Sitemap Generator is a lot more user friendly, and it's HTML pages rather than XML that browsers sometimes display differently. It looks a bit ugly. Oops. So add Dagon Design Sitemap Generator and activate it. So if I go back to the Flirt Coach, and incidentally, I'm not sure if I've ever shown you how easy it is to upgrade a plugin. I'll show that to you now. You just click on upgrade automatically, and it does the job, but it's always worth backing up your site beforehand, and one of the plugins that I'm going to mention today will do that for you. It's also possible to update WordPress itself, and that will tell you to back it up. I'm actually taking a bit of a chance because I haven't done it on this occasion, but I have read the update notes and I believe this will be fine. Click on upgrade automatically. You will not necessarily want to upgrade every time there's a new release, especially with a site such as an e-commerce site, because any time that you have a change, it can increase the chance of things going wrong. So it's something you want to be a little bit wary of. In the case of this site, I'm still setting it up really, so I'm not too worried about it, but I won't be just doing that with dojotool.com, with which I'm now selling products. So now we need to go into plugins. Add new, and it's the Dagon Design sitemap generator. In fact, you can just search for Dagon Design and it will be the first in the list. So you install this. It hasn't been tested. I'm fairly confident it will work. Last updated over a year ago, but that's fine. It does the job. It doesn't need to be any different. So you install it, you activate it. And the next stage is to go into settings, DD sitemap gen. So settings, DD sitemap gen, and this is perhaps being a bit finicky, but there are certain settings that I like to make. Hide future dated posts, hide password protected items. Let's do those first. Oh, incidentally, you don't have to worry about putting anything there with the technique that I'm going to show you how to use. Right, hide future dated posts. I've now selected it. Hide passwords protected items was already selected. I tend to select the second navigation method, which will show pages 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rather than just previous and next. I think it helps with SEO a little bit, and I tend to show sitemap navigation at both the top and the bottom. Now, this is another way to tell browsers where your sitemap is, which is simply to have a link to it. So, in this case, this one you want to be just the uncompressed XML version. And I put that link at the end of every page. So you click on Update Options. Now this one won't have done anything yet because you need to add a page, and you need to add this text into the page. So I'm going to copy the text. I've done it with the Control-C shortcut, and I'm going to add a page, pages, add new. I'm going to call it sitemap. And before I forget, if you remember, I told you that there are various various pages that Google definitely look for on a website, and if they see those pages, it will improve the SEO rankings. And these are pages like terms and conditions and privacy policy. This is another of these pages. So sitemap, I have to, let me just make this a little bit better so that you can see the whole page without anything getting in the way. You need to click on HTML and Control V to paste the text from the mind map into the page. The page slug will have been set up as sitemap by doing this, which is probably the optimum. You click on publish, and you click on view page, and then we should be able to see that sitemap. And there it is. Now this one is pretty bare. Actually, you will not want to allow leaving a reply on a page like this. So in this case, we'll edit the sitemap page, turn off allow comments, and turn off allow trackbacks and pingbacks. And then click on update. And if we view the page again, that's got rid of the comments form. Often the edits have only appeared here because I'm logged in as admin. And view XML sitemap. Here we are. Here is our sitemap. So indeed seems to be the case that adding that post or that page in has caused the sitemap, the XML sitemap, to be generated. I will show you the one on dojotool.com because that's quite a bit more detailed, and I mean I think that site now sells 40 different products, and you can see it's all organized in categories, sorted in alphabetical order. You've got the pages that you can select at the bottom, and it also gives you extra links to all your terms and conditions, all of the boring stuff we went through last week. So that's that. But oh yeah, view page to check all is okay. As you saw, there are plenty of settings that you can make with Dagon Design sitemap generator, but again, any playing that you do is going to take away from time that you could be using to convert PLR products. Just change them slightly so that they become your products and upload them, or upload resale rights products, or generating your own products, or whatever. It's anything that takes time away from you doing that is something you don't want to have. Okay, lost audio. Okay, we lost audio there. Hopefully you haven't lost much, but it'll be all in the video in any case. All-in-one SEO pack. This certainly helps your search engine optimization. It allows you to provide page descriptions to search engines. And I believe in week 1 I actually showed you what these looked like within the search engine listings. This plugin also allows you to control the title of each page within the HTML code, and that's one of the things that search engines look for. I don't usually use it to change the title because I normally have a well optimized post title that is targeted at exactly the keywords that I want to rank for. So you need to install and activate All-in-One SEO Pack. So if I bring up the sites and go back to the admin pages of the shop, and go to plugins, add new, and it's All-in-One SEO. So inside the term box, All-in-One SEO, search for plugins. That's the one. And we click on install. Click on install now. Same old story every time, really. Activate plugin. And as you can see, you've got this huge red box that says All-in-One SEO Pack must be configured. So what we want to do, we'll go to the admin page by following the link. Okay, plugin status has to be enabled. You have to enter a title for your home page and a description on your home page. And this is something that will appear in the search engine listings. Chances are in the descriptions that appears under the title directly. Personally, I never bother with keywords. This is for the meta keywords tag, and it's probably the first little bit of search engine abuse that you saw was meta keywords tags that had a whole English dictionary in them. I'm sure you know what I mean, but certainly I don't tend to bother with that. I think you're wasting your time if you enter things in there. Okay, set up home title and description we've done. It's optimal really to remove these. It just gives you a slight boost on the title without having anything after it. Now it's a matter of opinion. I've certainly ranked for keywords, and I find it easiest to rank for keywords if I have that explicit keyword in the post title or the page title. It's the post title you mainly need to worry about for this purpose because you don't normally care about ranking for pages. But if you have these specifically without anything added on, then it's my opinion that will get your rankings as high as possible. That is pretty much it. It will generate meta keywords for you because it'll use tags for them. so that's fine. So even if you want them, it's nothing to worry about. You get them as a matter of course. So you click on Update Options, and then that's done. And if I go to Posts now, and if I click on Add New, we will see the options at the bottom for the all-in-one SEO pack. And if you want to enter an explicit title for that post, you enter it there. It tells you how many characters you've entered, and it suggests a limit of 60 characters, but you can exceed that if you wish. It's just it's suggesting that search engines won't publish any more than 60 in their snippets. And the same with descriptions. It's got a character count there. As you enter characters, the counter goes up, as you can see, and you've got 160 characters to play with for the description. Again, you can exceed that if you wish. It's up to you. If you do exceed that, what you tend to see is some of the title or description that you've entered being used, followed by 3 dots. And that is the all-in-one SEO pack done. GD star rating. This is what I use to allow customers to rate each product. And this is pretty simple, really. You're looking at installing the GD star rating plugin. There's a couple of other things you need to do. So if I go back to the Fur Coat shop and I go into plugins again, so it's GD star rating we're going to be looking for. So add new. GD star rating. Search plugins. And here it is. So you just click on install for it. Install now. Usual thing. Activate plugin. And there we go. In settings, what was it called? GD star rating. Where is it? GD star rating. Oh, settings, here we are. Plugin features. Activate support for cache plugins. And the other thing was settings articles. Okay, so we have to save these settings first, which we do by clicking at the link at the bottom of the page. And then we go to settings articles. There's a couple of sections where you have to do this. And I'll show you why. If I just bring up the sitemap we've generated. Here we are. We don't really want people to be able to rate our sitemap. And that would also apply to the terms and conditions pages. So where it says auto insert rating code, you want to turn off for individual pages, and then save the settings. And also under this green articles, we want to get rid of individual pages on that as well. Now, having done that, we should find if we refresh this that we don't any longer have the ability to rate the page. But if I go to the post where I'm selling this product, we still have the ratings. So that's got ratings set up on our e-commerce site. WP Super Cache is the next one. The purpose of this plugin is to make the pages appear quicker. That will help in two ways. It will help with conversion rates and search engine optimization. Now, I don't know about you, but certainly there are times when I'll click on a page in Google, having done a Google search, and I'll wait and wait and wait, sometimes 15, 20, 30 seconds. If it doesn't appear quite quickly, I'm just going to forget it. I'm going to abandon the attempt to view the contents of that site and go straight to another site. If you're on shared hosting, that's a possibility that might affect you. And certainly, if you're using WP Super Cache, what it'll do is it will improve the rates generally if you've got a lot of traffic. So for those pages which you generate a lot of traffic, it'll make a cache of those, the contents of those pages, so that'll speed things up when it comes time to view those pages. And we need to install and activate WP Super Cache. So if I go back to the admin side of the shop, and going to plugins, add new, what was it called? It was WP Super Cache, WP Super Cache, search for plugins, install, usual installation, install now, activate plugin, and it immediately tells me WP Super Cache is disabled. Please go to the plugin admin page to enable caching. Okay, now there's a couple of things to be aware of with this one. I think that's new. Okay, well, we'll look at that in a moment, but it says on the settings page, make sure you apply the mods rewrite rules. First of all, of course, we've got to turn it on. There we go. So that's a step I missed out of here. So in settings, select WP Cache and Super Cache enabled. I don't know what the difference is. I don't need to. So having done that, I click on Update Status for that section. Okay, that message that appeared up here has disappeared, so it must have sorted itself out. Right, super cache compression. As it says, it's disabled by default. If you've got the time, you might want to try enabling it and see if you get any problems. So that's what I'm going to do. But it's very important to update the mod rewrite rules. It says to serve static HTML files, your server must have the correct mod rewrite rules added to a file. This file with that name, and it says you've got to edit the file yourself to add the rules. You don't really need to, because it gives you a button that does it. You click on Update Mod Rewrite Rules, and the panel will turn green, and you're done. I'm guessing that it tells you you need to do it by hand just in case the update button doesn't work. And to test that, just try it out, basically. And just try browsing the site a little bit, just check that everything seems to be working okay. And let's go back to the home page. Okay, yeah, that loaded a bit quicker than I fancy. Go back to the... I mean, these pages look the same because I've only got one post, of course. But that all looks fine. If you do get any problems with the super cache compression, just disable it, click on disabled, and then click on update compression. So that's WP super cache. FD FeedBurner is next. This allows your feeds to be redirected to FeedBurner, which probably helps your SEO. I don't know for certain that it does. I don't see any reason that it would hinder it. It saves you bandwidth. All of your feeds will certainly be accessed by many robots, if not many people. What FeedBurner does is to cache that content and provide it to the robots for you. So it can save you quite a lot of bandwidth that way. And it provides feed analytics. It'll tell you how many robots and how many people are accessing your feeds, which can be very useful. And people could be accessing those just by showing them on an iGoogle page, iGoogle homepage. It could be on a Squidoo Lens, something, you know, any of these sites that can pull up an RSS feed and use it. That's where they can appear on. So you need to set up a FeedBurner account for this. Now I'm going to show you the URL at which you can do it. I'm not going to show you how to do it because I can't. I've already done it. So let's replace that page, I think. But once you have signed up, okay. Obviously you click on create an account if you haven't already got a Google account, but by this time you will have a Google account. So you just sign in to FeedBurner with your Google account. And you can see I've set up some feeds already. And I get a fair bit of traffic to this one. I don't get a lot of traffic to these two yet. But as you can see, 34 subscribers since I set up the plugin. This is the main Flirt Coach site, not Flirt Coach shop. I should add. But the next thing you need to do is to burn the feeds to your website by entering your feed links, and they look like this. So in this case, it's going to be http://shop.flirt-coach.net/feed/. So I'm not a podcaster, so I don't click on that. I click on next. And it's given some reasonable defaults for the feed title and the feed address. So it says pick a name for the feed address in the mind map. That's already been done, and it's there, and I'm happy with that. So it's then a matter of clicking on next. And click next. Now step 2, you may consider adding additional free FeedBurner stats. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so I like to track as much as I can, really. The more information I have about people's habits, the better. So let's include that, let's include that, and let's include that. So we're going to include everything. And there we are. So we have our feed set up. So that step was to select tracking options. All is fine, and click next. Now, the blog still points to its own feeds. If you ever forget these instructions, it'll tell you what to do there, but I don't think that was quite the same as what I found I had to do. Yes, this plugin is compatible with WordPress versions 1.5 through to 2.5. Lost audio again. So, okay, I lost audio again, but it looks like I've recovered. So, don't use those instructions, basically. Just do it this way. Install and activate FD FeedBurner plugin. So, we're looking at... Let's close down some of these. Right, plugins. Add new. FD FeedBurner. Click on install. Install now. And you can guess the next step. Activate plugin. Once the plugin's activated, you then need to go to plugins FeedBurner configuration. And then enter the URL of your FeedBurner feed. Now, I'm just wondering if you can get the feed details by copying them from this site. I can't see a way of doing that. But it needs to be feeds.feedburner.com / the name of the feed. So feeds.feedburner.com / FlirtCoach Shop was the name of it. And that is all I needed to do. But there's one other thing. You do have to add a new post to get this updated. So I'll just add a post quickly. So test post. Just move the microphone. I'm sorry about that if I got a bit quiet for an instant. Testing. Click on publish. I wouldn't normally do this, but I'm just doing this so that we can get that to appear in the feed. And if I go to the main site, there should be an RSS feed link somewhere. Subscribe to entries. Here we go. If I click on that, it will redirect me to feedburner.com, and there we are. And that's very interesting. My add to cart button has actually appeared in the feed, and I didn't know that was going to happen. So that's actually given me another page from where my products can be purchased directly. I like that very much, and that was a very interesting find. Okay, fave icons. How many more have I got to run through? I've got a few. I've got plenty of time, really. It helps your site stand out in the bookmark list. Okay. Probably helps with SEO because the search engines are looking for quality sites to promote, and everything you do to make your site seem more professional should help your SEO. It's my opinion, really, rather than fact, but I certainly think it's the way things can go. So, a fave icon, if you're not aware of it, this little fire is a fave icon. If I go onto one of my sites, you can see I've designed a basic fave icon for this site, and you need to use a fave icon generator. Well, this is one of the ways you can do it. There's plenty of ways that you can design icons. You might want to download GIMP or use Photoshop Elements or something like that. But this will do the job fine. So if we just bring up something, just design something really quite quickly. Something that looks a bit like a heart will do for this site. You don't have to be fancy. But I'm just gonna do something very quickly here to demonstrate this. Okay, use animation. You can even have an animated favicon if you wish. Most sites don't, and I don't personally do that. But you click on the download favicon, and this comes through. You save a file on your local file system. Okay, that's an earlier one from something else that I did. The downloads, there it is. We now need to upload it to the root of our site, just like the Google file. And actually, while I'm at it, I've just remembered that I've only shown you the one way to do the verification. I want to show you the other way as well, if I possibly can. The other way is a bit easier, but if you ever change themes, you can get issues with that. Of course, it's already verified my site, but I believe I can do it because I've got a site that's coming up as unverified. Yes, so I can do it with this one. This is a WordPress blog. It's something that I don't really do anything with anymore, and I'll do it using the meta tag approach on this occasion. So basically, I have to copy that text, go into that blog, go into Appearance because I need to edit the theme directly. Go into Editor, and there's header.php, which is what I need to edit. Okay, it can go in here. In fact, if I just paste it there, and that'll be fine. I think it's got to be a perfect match. If I click on Update File, go back to the Verify Ownership link and click on Verify now. And there we go. Excellent. Okay, that's shown you how to do that. I'll go back to the favicon now. So I'll just close those pages, and we got to the stage where we had downloaded the favicon, which has appeared there, and we now need to connect to our web host using our FTP program. As you know, I use FileZilla. Go to the root of the blog where this is required, which in this case was shop. I need to open that containing folder, and then I just copy it. Oops. Copy it into place. So that's created and uploaded the favicon, but nothing will know it's there. Oh, actually, I forgot to tell you, but these favicons will appear in the bookmark lists as well. So they'll be slightly highlighted, so they'll also help draw attention to your eShop or blog. Okay, we don't need that page anymore. So we've done that, and you don't need to convert it to a .gif file if you don't want to. If you do want to have an animated favicon, it's going to have to be a .gif because a .ico file cannot be animated. And the next stage is to install and activate the plugin, the WP Favicon plugin. And that's quite simple. Go into plugins, add new. What was it? It was WP Favicon. Search plugins. Here it is. Install. Install now. Has not been tested with your current version. I'm sure it'll work fine. Activate. It's version 0.1. It doesn't really do a great deal. Now, I haven't written anything else, but I'll just check whether that's all. WP Favicon settings. And that's fine. If I go to the roots now, I may be viewing a cached version of the page. Oh yeah, there's my test post. So if I just view the source for a moment. Yes, that appears to be the case. So if I try refreshing, that might work. Of course, the fact that I'm using the cache is probably not helping in this case. And that's something that might appear within an hour or so. In the meantime, if I click on the About page and call that up, that's something that wasn't cached. So if I search now, okay, here we are. We've got the favicon shortcuts. That is the effect of installing that plugin. In the source code, it hasn't appeared here. I'm not quite sure why that's the case, but the important thing is that the favicon is there and it's available. Okay, I'm not entirely sure why it hasn't appeared in the blog, but I'm going to move on. Right, kbrobots.txt is the next plugin. Okay, allows some control over what robots can do with your site. And only robots built with good behavior in mind will follow the rules contained within. That means robots will not necessarily be good and polite and follow all the rules that you've got in robots.txt. If they're well designed, they will. Robots such as Googlebot and the robots associated with the other major search engines certainly will follow the rules that you specify. But some that are used for slightly more nefarious purposes, such as looking for comment boxes in which to insert spam, would probably not look for robots.txt, or if they do, they're perhaps doing something subterfuge. Now you can edit it by hand if you prefer. You can use a text editor such as PSPad or Notepad and just upload it. Don't use a word processor. I recommend that you follow this link if you want to find details about the robots.txt and the robots exclusion standard. If I just call it up briefly. You can see there's quite a bit of detail here, but particularly at the bottom you've got some further text that you can look at. Here we are, list of bad bots. That's what I was telling you about, the spiders which ignore the robots.txt. There we are. Okay, so there's quite a lot of useful information about them, but really you don't need to have a great deal in your robots.txt. You've got to install the KB robots.txt plugin, so let's do that. Plugins, add new, term KB robots.txt. There it is, install. This is very simple. A lot of these plugins are very simple. They don't have to be complicated. And we activate the plugin. Wait for it to activate, and in this case it appears in settings. KB robots.txt, and there we are. And it gives you some samples within this page itself, but what I recommend is, at least to start off with, just copy out the contents of this box and just add them to the robots.txt file. Having done that, if I go directly to that file, okay, there we are. That's exactly what we've just entered. That will disallow access to the admin pages and pweek. Your downloads are already put into a protected folder by eShop, so you don't have to worry about them. And that's it for KB Robots. Okay, add to footer is the next thing. Now, this again is a very simple plugin, and you don't need to use this one. You can edit the theme directly. if you go into Appearance, into Editor for the themes, you can look for footer, select it, and here we go. We've got the various some of the footer text here. Just to prove that it's the case that if I change some of this, then that change will appear. Let's, instead of powered, say is programmed using WordPress, and I can click on Update File, and that will do the job. Now, the reason I recommend using a plugin instead is simply that if I change themes at any time, okay, it's still showing powered by because of the cache. Let's go to a page that hasn't been cached. If I want to change themes at any time, there we are, is programmed using. Incidentally, that's proof that the cache is working. Yes, if I want to change themes at any time, then I've got to put in those changes again. And if I instead use Add to Footer plugin, then all the the changes that I make will appear in all the themes automatically. So Add to Footer is the name of the plugin. So we'll go to it. Plugins, add new, add to footer, search for plugins, click on install, click on install now, click on activate, and we can click on configure. Oh yes, we can also add Google Analytics, Stack Counter, and various other stuff directly into here if we wish. I prefer using a separate plugin for Google Analytics simply because if I'm logged in as admin, then my results won't appear, the results of my page accesses won't appear in Google Analytics. So any other text, I'm just going to put in other text goes here. I'll save that, and you can put in HTML stuff in there. Now this isn't going to appear instantly on the root of the blog because of the cache. But if I go to privacy policy, I don't think I've accessed that page yet. Okay, other text goes here, so there we go. Yeah, now as I say, that if you want to be sure of complying with e-commerce law, you might want to add in links to your privacy policy terms and conditions. You might want to add in something to say the name and address of your business, the geographical address, and all that sort of stuff. So it's a very simple plugin, but I find it quite handy. Okay. Ultimate Google Analytics I covered already. Piwik Analytics I covered already. eShop plugin I covered already. Pretty Link. This isn't really so much to do with an e-commerce site, but I wanted to talk about it briefly because if you ever need something to cloak links and provide you with tracking and analytics of those links, Pretty Link is just about the best plugin that I've found that deals with that. So I'll install it here so that you can see how it installs. Plugins, add new. Pretty Link. They advertise a bit with this, but it's free, so that's fine. I'm going to click on install. Install now, usual thing, and activate plugin. And this brings up a menu of its own. I'll drop it down, and there's various things you can do. There's add new link. So this is almost like one of those tiny URL compression services. So I don't know if you wanted to have something that goes to the main part of the site. Let's just call it that, title and description. Redirect to main site. We'll do this page redirects to the main site. Link options. Okay, various things you can do with it. I'm just going to click on create, and then I'm going to try going to that link. So I'll copy it out of here. And if I do that, I'll be redirected to the specific site that I set it to go to. And now, having done that, if I refresh, oops, don't want to get it to add a new link, but if I refresh this, it will now show me that there was one hit and one unique. And if I click on that, it'll actually show me a report on that. And for some reason I don't. Oh, there we are. So it's showing me what happens during the day. There's my IP address. It's labeled me as a visitor. That's the host name of my internet link. That's where I went. If I'd come from a specific website, it would be listed there. These are very good analytics indeed, and if I just show you, I've got this on dojotool.com because I've got some links on there that, well, I've got one affiliate link that I've set up, which goes to in 1K a day, and if I look at this, there are 22 hits that have occurred on there. Nothing recently, but certainly you can see a lot of hits have happened in the past. There's various details, and something else you want to know is that you can filter out most of the robots. If you select filter robots and click on update options, and then you go back to PrettyLink, it'll actually show me that there used to be 22, now there's 7. So these are presumed to be human, and it's showing 2 from the last month. But I can set a date range. I can't go any earlier than January the 17th, probably because that's when I installed it. Yeah, and there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's showing now. Okay, 5 out of 7. And you can actually download a log of it as well. I mean, if you're doing any sort of affiliate marketing and you want to do some tracking, this will give you some basic tracking, because you can tell how many conversions you've had from the merchant, and you can look at the number of hits that you've had, and that'll give you your conversion rate. That's one way you could use it. I've come to the end of the list of plugins that I use, but there's still just under half an hour left. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to expand a little bit on the analytics side. I recently promoted one of the products on dojotool.com, and I've got some stats from that, and I can share with you those stats. Because I didn't really feel that I gave a good demonstration of why web analytics is so essential on during the last webinar. Oh, incidentally, in the members area, if I just go to the members area, I have uploaded some new videos. They're not going to appear well here, but basically there are 6 Google Analytics videos to which I had resale rights, so I decided to put them up here. I've really, it's more videos 4 to 6 that might be useful to you, and they're available for playing in the members area or direct downloading and viewing using VLC or whatever you like. They're not brilliant, but they may teach you something, and this oh yeah, the other thing to be aware of is the interface is slightly older than it is now in those videos. But yes, P-Week Analytics. Yeah, now you can see if I... For some annoying reason, it always shows you the previous date when you log into it. But you can see I've had quite a bit of activity. Well, not a huge amount, but certainly enough activity. When I sent something advertising a product to my list yesterday, so I've got a list of browsers, countries that these people came from. Feedburner stats, I don't know. much about, so that's something I've got to look into sometime. List of keywords gives you information about what keywords may have been used to access your sites from search engines. External websites tells you where traffic came from. These only give you stats for that day, or it could be a week or a month. If I select week, that might be a bit more interesting and useful actually. Okay, yeah, Google hasn't really, it's discovered me, but this site, but there's not much traffic from Google yet. But I'm not going to worry too much about that. Because as I've said before, I haven't done much SEO with this blog yet. So you get to see various stats about your users. I'll switch back to the day view actually now. And there you can see what's happened during the day. Visitor settings tells you what browsers have been used, what operating systems have been used. Let me zoom out a bit so that it looks a bit better. What resolutions of screen display have been used. So if you want to make sure that your site appears well on your user's sites, it'll give you information as to what predominantly tends to be available to these sites. It tells you when people are most likely to look at your site in terms of both their local time and the server time. How frequent and how loyal your visitors are. So this only logs visits from returning visitors. Locations and provider. It estimates where these people have come from rather than knowing absolutely. And actions. What pages did these people view? Well, that was what I promoted, so it's not surprising that that appears quite a lot. Someone went to Proxy Site Creation 101. And again, that's just during that day. Page titles isn't going to be much more interesting. Outlinks, haven't got anything in that. Downloads, haven't got anything in that. Referrers, okay, this is the direct visitors. A referrer is simply a website that's given you a link and enables people to click through from that link to your site. So you can see where some of your traffic has come from and what's come directly into it. Search engines and keywords, in this case, isn't going to show much for this site because, as I've said, I haven't done much SEO with it. Websites and campaigns. I can't do a great deal with those because I don't yet fully understand them. Goals overview, Now this will give me a direct conversion rate, 25%. That's a brilliant conversion rate. Of course, that's a conversion rate from people that I sent a message to my list for. 25% would be virtually impossible to achieve under any other situation. People on my list obviously generally trust me, and I've built up a rapport with them, and they'll hear what I have to say and sometimes act upon it. And that conversion rate information is very useful, and it also gives you different types of conversion rates. The conversion rates for returning visitors is vast compared to that of new visitors in this case. But pWeek really does pale into insignificance when you look at Google Analytics. If I log into Google Analytics, I'm not new to it, I just want to access it. Of course, I've shown you this briefly before. Now let's go to dojotool.com. Okay, well, similar sort of thing that you can see here. The stats won't always correspond exactly. In particular, people might block Google Analytics. It's quite easy to do with plugins such as AdBlock Plus. You get a lot more information from here, but this is what pWeek aspires to. Now, goal conversions. This is the interesting thing. I've set up a goal, and I think I did it with you last week. And now we can see that we've had some conversions. It's giving me a slightly different figure than pWeek did, but still these figures are exceptionally good. That's the goal conversion rate over the whole period. These are the daily conversion rates. Now, reverse goal path is an interesting one, because that will show how people got to the downloads. And here we see we got someone who started off at shopping cart. Well, they probably didn't start off there, but a certain way into the process, they went into shopping cart checkout, then went to the one with redirecting it, and they came back to the thank you page, and then they went to the downloads page, and 7 of the people that ended up there went to that. I don't know if you remember that I said I had problems with 2 purchasers in the beginning, but 2 people have gone straight to the downloads link, which is where they could access their downloads, and there is a download. It's appeared in here because I've used a head match, so I'll have to change that to an exact match, and I'll do that in a minute. But what we've got is somebody downloaded that file, and that's the reason that's been treated as a conversion as well. goal abandoned funnels. I haven't actually set up the funnel, but if I was to set up the funnel, I would use that reverse goal path. Funnel visualization gives you an idea of how it'll look. You've also got, what else have you got? You can find out quite a lot about your visitors, how many pages they've viewed, how many absolute unique visitors you've got, how long they spend on your site. The bounce rate is the number of people that click through to your site and then click away from it again. New visitors, profile, and all that sort of stuff. Traffic sources, you can see where your traffic came from, and we even had a little bit from the search engines. So you can see various people have provided links to this site, and people have clicked through onto them. Content will show you the most popular contents on your blog. Warrior Questions Answered was viewed 81 times during the past month. The shopping cart was viewed 50 times. The checkout 40 times. 29 people have actually accessed the $5 a day junior teaser edition. That's very interesting, because I didn't set up a squeeze page for that. I might do that. But the point of this really is that you can identify the sources of traffic that's converting for you. In my case, it was my mailing list, so it's obviously won't appear in here. And you can try to make sure you capitalize on that information by boosting your rankings for that keyword, advertising on that keyword, advertising on the sites of people that advertise on that keyword, and all that sort of stuff. So, right, we're drawing to the end now. There's not much time left, so I'm going to go over the challenge for this week. And what you need to do this week, if you choose to follow the challenge, is to decide which plugins you will apply to one WordPress blog, which needn't be your eShop if you don't wish it to be. There's no reason you have to make it your eShop blog. Decide a date, a time, and a time zone when that will be done. Provide the URL for the blog that you will be modifying, and add this information to the members area in a comment. So if I bring up the members area again, let's just make this a little bit smaller. Right, okay, posts. So we want to add a post week 3 challenge. And this one was to decide which plugins you will apply to one WordPress blog. Does not need to be your eShop blog, although of course I recommend that that's the one that you do use. Decide on a date, time and time zone when this will be completed. Provide the URL for the blog that you will be modifying. And number 4 is add this information as a comment to this post. So it's a challenge for week 3, and that's basically it. So I'll publish that. Okay, now let's look at week 2's challenge. I didn't enter into week 2's challenge because I'd really already set one up. Okay, there's one comment. Okay, I did say I was going to set up Google Analytics. I'm not sure if I achieved that actually. On what site did I say I was going to do it on? shop.flirtcoach.net. No, I didn't achieve that, I don't think. But the point of these is, if you can achieve them, there's 2 immediate benefits. You learn how to do these things, and you're improving your business, because these are not just exercises. These will provide you with sites with which you can add you can add products for sale. You can add posts. I mean, eShop you can apply to a pre-existing blog that you've got. So yes, I haven't even got Google Analytics installed there, so I didn't achieve that one, but there we go. So I certainly recommend that you try the challenge for week 3. It's not much of a challenge. It's not going to take too long. It certainly shouldn't take you 2 hours. I've just spent nearly 2 hours demonstrating all these, and to demonstrate them I have to talk to you, tell you how to do them, talk about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. If you're just doing it, you don't need to do that. Anyway, what I want you to do, if you want to follow the challenge, you will get a bonus provided. Actually, if I can motivate you, I'll show you a specific bonus, and it will be this one. This is an excellent course. There's 10 videos in it over a period of about 12 hours, and it really is the bee's knees when it comes to search engine optimization. Now, at the moment the price is $19. If you complete today's challenge, this week's challenge, I'm going to provide you with this for free. So that's what you're going to get from me as your bonus, but only if you complete the challenge. Hopefully that'll motivate you. Right, I don't think there have been any questions. There's nothing in the questions log, there's nothing in the chat log. As with the other videos, this has been recorded. The recording appears to have worked, so I'll get that up in the members area hopefully within the next 24 to 48 hours. And thank you very much for your attendance. And that's it. If you do have any questions, quickly enter them into the chat log. Okay, and I'm going to sign off now. Thank you very much for attending, and goodbye.